that.
All right,
makes
call the
sense.
meeting to order. We left off section 8.3 in the model code, which corresponds with section 21
Chapter 5.
in the original section 21 of our current city charter.
So Mike, did you just also kind of model it off of the LOC
Yeah,
for your version?
yeah, I think, I don't think I changed it much at all.
So I had a question on section 2. Number C. Letter C, pardon. How are
On the
we trusting
original.
that? It's on our code, our current code.
At the jail pending trial, a person accused of an offense against the city.
Yeah, because we don't have a jail of our own, so,
And we don't really, I mean,
well. And with Lincoln County, it all depends on whether they have room.
right.
So what would you?
Still say it and just say,
Possibly, or like, 'cause that almost sounds like you're forced to commit them to jail,
right,
No.
just by the wording is what it sounds like.
Municipal judge may commit to jail.
Oh,
oh, okay, all right.
yeah,
Or admit to bail anyone accused of a city, or to bail anyone accused of a city offense. So it's almost. What we have previously, we've just, the LOC templates just added or admit to bail.
Okay, that works. That's what I wanted to hear, was because if we get a hold of Lincoln County and they don't have room,
Right.
then, okay, we gotta put you on bail.
This may not have any change, but I'm looking at Mike's version and it's will hold court in the city at such place as the council directs. Just out of curiosity, we're like in here,
right here.
is that where it would be?
See, muni judge.
Yeah. Okay, I should open my eyes, my bad.
Where our current charter says will be held in the city limits.
Okay,
The municipal judge shall hold court within the city. A court known as municipal court for the city of Toledo is what our current charter says. We want the flexibility, and all the newer cities are leaving that open.
I mean, it sounds fine, I was just out of curiosity, I'm like, where would it take place?
For flexibility, because you can do anything that a city is allowed to do under the intergovernmental that it's allowed to do, it can contract with another city
Right,
to do it.
So on F here on Mike's version, it says that we can add a judge pro tem. Is that when Arnold wouldn't be here, or does he pick his own?
well, he picks his own, but we could pick one if we have one.
Okay, if we had to.
But then, oh, so that's only if you had to, because if he selects a pro tem, then you're gonna go with that one.
Yeah, and the contract we told
Okay.
them to. Take a go.
I was like, and then because if the council suggests one and he has one, then which one would you choose? But you're gonna default to
I'm
him.
gonna default to the judge.
Okay.
And that's only
when.
when he can't make it. It's only once a month, right?
Yeah, we're only once a month now, so.
Like he was on vacation this month.
Mike, I have a quick question on A. You said the flexibility, the way that second sentence reads. The municipal judge will hold court in the city at
So
such.
it does say in the city.
It does, yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
see that.
Will hold court at such place as the council directs is what I'd like to
There we go.
say.
But it has to be in the city limits?
It has
no
to
matter
be in the
what?
city limits, or it has to be
Under an IGA.
Right.
under an IG.
So for example, okay. We do it this way so that we use our contract to say we're doing judge services for, say, someday Eddyville gets a city, okay? They want muni court. We can send our judge out there under an IGA.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
What's IGA?
Intergovernmental agreement.
Or there's a couple larger cities in the metro area. And then there's another one where it's a group of three where you come to Toledo Municipal Court. And it's also where you come to Silet's Municipal
Oh,
Court.
okay, I gotcha.
And it's also where you come to Eddyville.
So they could
You know,
technically hold
they're-
Silet's and Eddyville here in Toledo with an IGA.
Assuming
Right.
the charter of those cities
Right, allow
doesn't say
Right.
in the city. That's a good catch, Lisa. Thank you. And then on C. Oh, no, that one's good. Any other questions on that?
Where does the areas outside the city extend to? Is that just like,
Wherever,
Like through the municipal code, we've given our firefighters authority to perform as they would in the city within the fire district,
okay.
because we have a contract for the fire district. So, yeah, but
is that X or is that just formerly known as Twitter?
What's that?
Your tweets?
Oh, no, that's
Facebook.
text messages.
Oh. Yes.
For the record, we have David
David,
and Jackie Burns coming in.
excellent.
Hey, awesome. So I have a question on G. Have we ever had to transfer the functions of the municipal court to a state court? Like, what would that entail? Why would we have to transfer?
Like pro tem, couldn't.
No, let me look at that ORS statute.
Yeah, look that one up. I think I know what it means, but I don't want to open my mouth.
I think I know too.
That's my problem. I shouldn't.
I don't want to guess.
I guess that's the same thing in our original charter, notwithstanding the section, council may transfer some or all the functions. And then for that.
You know, it's the council. You know, the council has the authority to charge crimes. And we just do traffic, so that would be an example of. Well, we do have jurisdiction to do Dewey's and thefts and, you know, all misdemeanors. We don't do that as a municipal court.
So that's what it probably means by may transfer some of the functions to a state court.
Yeah, I think so. It's there.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm hearing if there is more like an egregious case, something larger than a Dewey or theft. then it
Well,
would
Dewey's
go
and
on.
thefts go to Newport.
Oh, they do,
All
okay.
times, that's.
That's why I was talking about circuit court earlier. We already cite people into circuit court.
Okay, sorry, I'm so new to all of this, so I
No, that's
apologize
good.
if this
No,
is.
you're
I've
asking,
never had any dealings with the court system,
you're
so.
asking the right,
Knock on wood.
you're asking the right questions.
Okay.
Okay, because remember, in rewriting this document, people got to be able to read it and understand it.
Mhm.
And that's why it's good to ask those questions.
Only stupid question is one you don't ask.
Yep.
Well, that's just like the basic understanding of how the court system works, I feel like, and so that's like another.
When the county has a justice court and there's justice of peace, the city can do an IGA. And transfer everything to all the powers, all the jurisdiction, all the authority. To the justice of peace. In that particular county district, that's what that ORS citation is.
David, did you have any comment on this section?
He has not jumped back in as panelist, so I don't know if he's at his keyboard. Oh, there we go.
Audio and video.
There you are.
Hey,
Finally, I can get in. I've been sending text messages and listening along since before 10 o'clock, trying to find out a way to get into this meeting.
Oh, you're looking professional today.
Thanks. I don't have any comments about this section. I think it's fine as written, really.
Okay.
It's flexible. I think Mike is right on how we cite traffic violations and code enforcement. Usually keep those in-house, and then anything else goes to circuit court.
Right, should we move to chapter 6? In our code, section 9 in the LOC.
Really quick, why is
Yep.
section 8.4, section 9 there? Why is that?
Section 10, it's all been stricken.
Yeah, why is it all stricken? Is that because it's been moved to another?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In their perspective.
I see,
I was gonna
okay,
ask the same
I was
question.
like, wait a second, because I feel like we talked about this,
Okay.
but. So it's just stricken in the sense of where it's at in the charter.
Yeah.
Perfect, okay. So
Chapter 9.
chapter 9, and then yeah, chapter 6 in our original.
6 in ours, 9 in the LOC.
So I did circle something on ours, section 22. I don't know if this is worded wrong or not, but to me, I could see people construing it wrong, but it says that, subject to council approval, the city manager may prescribe rules and procedures governing recruitment, selection, promotion, transfer, demotion, suspension, layoff, and dismissal of the city employees on the basis of merit and fitness. The word fitness may not really.
Okay, so,
merit and fitness sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
They're kind of, I think they're used together to describe fair process
Okay.
equally on the same.
I just see the word fitness and think people are gonna think overweight, skinny.
No.
That's the way I saw it when I read it. I'm like,
Well, and I understand that because that's kind of become the way it's been interpreted in the last 20 years. For me, fitness in this context has always been your ability to do the job. B, your ability to do the job within the parameters of the law. So in other words, you step outside the law, you have lost the fitness to do that job.
good enough. That's good.
Yeah.
And the merit and fitness together,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
broad discretion for
Right.
See,
him to create the rules as long as the
Right.
city manager create the rules as long as they're consistent.
Doing their job the way they're supposed to.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
yes.
So then, Mike, should that actually go under with the officers or wherever it goes with the city manager? I mean, why do we have it as a separate paragraph?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have city manager somewhere else too.
Yeah, just to align it.
Yeah.
If it falls under the directive of the city manager, should it go under their duties?
I think so. I think that makes sense. Because.
Yeah, and because, okay, so under,
But it's saying under personnel, the council by resolution.
we'll determine the rules.
Yeah.
And
They would approve the rules / policy of how it's done. It's
Right.
carried out by the city.
Right.
manager.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I like the way it's written in our original one. Where it says subject to council approval.
Yeah. I like that one better too.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because most of the paragraph talks about how the city manager
Right.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for once, I think our 1993 version had a good one.
I think I was talking to Daylin about it. I was like, we're doing this because we're talking about the other stuff. And she's like, how long has it been since you guys did it? I was like, 30 years. She's like, oh, God.
I don't know if I told you, there was somebody last year that updated theirs from 1925.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
we're doing better.
A lot better.
Holy cow.
When their city was incorporated was the last
Oh
time
my
it was
lord.
looked
Oh my
at.
gosh.
Oh, man. A
Well-
little outdated.
I do have one, the section 22 title is a lot.
Where?
Merit and fitness and employee political rights and responsibilities. I mean, it just seems like,
Is that over on the LLC one?
no, I'm not looking at it original, I'm just looking at the title of section 22. And I mean, it covers everything, but it just seems very like wordy. I don't know, because if we do just kind of lift it from the original charter and put it into the new one.
I think we ought to add the LOC section 9.1.
Under the
Yeah,
compensation.
because I think it,
Do you want it with, as the approval of the annual city budget? And that means the.
Yes. and well, and here's why. And what I'm getting at with that, along with the city budget means, to me, means, okay, in January or February, we see what our employees are getting compensated. Because one of the things that I find is that people forget what we pay people. And so when you hear people that are struggling and you go, well, don't they make enough? They work for the city. And now, oh, hey, you can see the actual compensation. It's not as much as you think it is. I think it's a way to make sure the council stays up to speed with what the employees are making across the board. And I'm as guilty of that as anybody, because when y'all were talking about the library last year, I'll be blunt, I was shocked.
At what they make.
Yeah. You can sling burgers and make more money.
I was like, is that, in which I don't know how much the library
I don't
makes, so I was
either.
kind of trying to.
See, that's my point. That's-
Part-time, that was on the part-time. employee.
Yeah, but still, it's like,
Not
that's
surprising.
ridiculous.
They make minuscule.
I know they all work. for
Well, my
one.
only thing about that one would be, it says the council must authorize compensation of elected officials. I don't think we can
No.
do that.
Council must authorize the compensation of city officers and employees as part of its approval of the annual city budget.
Oh, on Mike's, it
I-
says
Yeah.
elective. That's why I
There's
was,
an option there,
okay.
an alternative.
So.
I just saw that elective. I'm like, we can't
Yeah,
authorize that.
we can't authorize our own at all.
Yeah,
It has to be done by
It's
the
to be done
voters.
by the chart, by the voters.
it does. And this charter will be approved by the voter.
Yes. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And I know, so in our section 2 on our charter, so chapter 6, section 22.2, we have this in place already, and if we don't, why not? And then number 3, I think it's important to have that in there.
He authorized the compensation of city official.
No. I'm looking at our charter. Okay,
Right.
not Mike's charter, our charter.
Council.
The council by ordinance may affirm the rights of city employees to participate in political activities and may impose limits necessary to maintain orderly and effective operation of city government.
I think that's, yeah, I think that's important.
I agree.
I think it's important. I don't know that it needs to be by. Do we want to require it by ordinance?
In a way, I would like to.
So is this saying that if I wanted to participate in something politically charged, I would first have to get permission by ordinance to do so?
No,
Okay,
what it means is it lays out the ground rules. So in other words, don't do it on city time.
okay.
Okay, you can do whatever you want on your own. Okay, and the limits, where we have limits is don't do it on city time.
Mhm.
Okay, public safety does not go on strike. Okay, we need fire and police no matter what. So we have to go to, I mean, that's why we go to collective bargaining, we go through all that stuff to try and ensure that from ever, you know, being a possibility. But if push comes to shove, they have to stay at their job. If they're off duty, then they can hold signs and do whatever,
Okay.
okay? But they have to pull their shift because you can't go the blue flu route.
There's a federal act that limits what federal employees can do, including the
Okay.
military. You know, if.
Strike what?
If you're.
Wasn't
And if you're wearing a military uniform, standing by a candidate for office up on the stage, you're wrong.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, and I guess
And-
this is my
and-
bad. I
and
didn't
so
read
No,
city
no, it's
employees
okay.
No, but I
It's
didn't
okay.
read
No,
city
no,
employees as
no, no, it's
police
okay.
and
Read that.
fire.
Don't apologize.
No, don't apologize. You don't deal with this stuff every day. Don't apologize at all.
If I go down to the training center,
State employees and city employees, it kind of flows down.
yeah,
Okay, again, I was all just thinking about council, but I didn't think about fire.
Yeah.
Police, all of that, so that clears everything up.
So as far as I can tell in the municipal code, there's nothing,
No, there's not anything right now in ordinance.
yeah. Should it be by ordinance or resolution as an administrative act?
it's a good question. I'm wondering,
What's the difference between the two? Ordinance
Well,
and
if it's-
resolution?
So an ordinance is in the municipal code, if it's in the charter,
It's basically a law.
and if it's in the charter, it has to go to the board voters. If it's by ordinance, the council can make the changes as necessary. By resolution, it's an administrative act, it's a little bit simpler than.
resolution, so like you've seen, okay, resolution. In essence, we can do those at every meeting, right?
Mhm.
Ordinance, we take a month or two to run through ordinances. My only issue with ordinances is how quickly something can change, and so. I like it in ordinance because it allows one more safeguard from. Be honest, the way,
Something sliding under that shouldn't have slid.
well, something sliding under that shouldn't, a movement, on council to penalize employees is gonna have to be brought to light, because if you do it by ordinance, you're gonna be at it a while. Which gives the public a chance to chime in.
Yeah.
I'm playing devil's advocate with
Yeah.
everything, and that's why I like an ordinance.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, it's like doing the livability ordinance. I knew that was gonna be a long slog, okay? And I'm not even counting the year plus Mike spent on reducing the Corvallis document down to here, okay? It was 4 months to get it through because we had to get all that public input. Okay, so I like ordinances for that reason, for things that could turn into an extremely hot topic.
Now, with an ordinance, it's.
Can still be
It's
changed,
a living document.
Right, it can still be
needs to
changed.
changed.
but the process of getting it changed is not in and out. It's
Can't do it on a weekend.
in, we gotta go through it, you know, we gotta have at least 2 public hearings.
Public hearings.
Right.
I would think that would be the best bet.
I would say
I mean, if we're
too,
dealing with the
especially-
public, we might as well do it that way.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion, keep it as an ordinance.
What do you think, David?
What I think is it should be an ordinance, but I'm really focused on the word may. Because public employees' rights to engage in political activity is a hot topic and is subject to change. And so keep it as a may,
Right.
proceed with caution. If you ever
Well,
used
yeah.
to,
No, but that's why I like the word may, because it's not a you must, it's a you may.
in the ordinance especially, you don't want to be doing this by resolution. As
No.
you said, you want some thought behind it, some process.
Anything else on chapter 6/chapter 9? All right, moving on to elections.
On ours.
On ours, yes.
It's chapter 7.
Did
We
we?
did, we talked through it.
That might have been the
Okay,
one
we
that
moved that to where then?
Talked on it under Mike's version, so it was a little bit early on.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure that, because I don't want to leave anything that's in the charter, not in, you know, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, so on Mike's version, it was chapter 7.
Yeah,
Got it.
this is a whole
Okay,
discussion
yeah.
about the terms and
Right.
being able to run.
Yeah,
there.
and then I know we covered vacancies in office.
Yeah, we marked down, we were gonna talk about compensation and compensation expenses later at the end.
Right. All right,
Chapter 9 ordinance.
yeah, so have we covered ordinances? Mike, I know this is
Yeah, we
a
did.
topic on, and did you make it?
We did, and I used the template.
Ordinance?
LOC
Okay.
version
All right.
for ordinance and administrative authority and quasi judicial authority and
Okay.
legislative authority. It was chapters 4, 5, and 6.
Good. Did we clarify mode of adoption?
That's where I got
Yeah.
confused.
Yes, we did.
Oh, thank you, Mike. You're making my day right now.
Where are you?
Chapter 9 in the original LOC, or the original charter.
Yeah, original charter.
That's the question. That was the big question I had in the ordinance.
We've clarified it by saying in 4.2. Except as authorized by subsection B. Adoption of an ordinance requires approval by a majority of the council at 2 meetings. And then subsection B is the council may adopt an ordinance in a single meeting by the unanimous approval. Or at least a quorum of the council, provided the proposed ordinance is available in writing to the public at least 1 week before the meeting. So, and then clarifies substantive amendments, but we got rid of what is, a bunch of not very easy to understand to a lay person, much less an attorney.
Lisa, what you got?
So you're on chapter 9 of your version, section 4.2. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate on section C. Any substantive amendment to the proposed ordinance must be read aloud or made available in writing to the public before the council adopts the ordinance at that meeting. I mean, an amendment's going to have to be adopted by motion anyways. Can we just strike that?
Strike what?
C.
Read it again.
I don't see C.
Oh, it's on chapter.
It's on Mike's.
Yeah.
That's what I don't see.
Two subs.
Would you read that again?
Any substantive amendment to a proposed ordinance must be read aloud or made available in writing to the public before the council adopts the ordinance at that meeting.
Right. So remember, whenever we've done amendments to ordinances, then we come back the next meeting with them in it.
I'll play devil's advocate. If you don't do that, then I don't know that the council has the authority on the fly to wordsmith the ordinance.
Yeah, resolutions we do, ordinances need to come back if we make a substantive change. So we make the substantive change, Mike puts it out, makes the changes, puts it out, and we go to the next meeting for adoption.
Right. Otherwise, your next meeting would be a first reading. If you
Right.
didn't have the amendments in.
Okay, so then maybe the last words at that meeting are throwing me off. Based on that sentence.
Well, at that meeting is referring to when you make the substantive amendment, right? You're in the meeting, you read it aloud, or you've made it available in writing to the public.
Yeah, and I was thinking,
Previous to,
Yeah, and I was thinking like if you got rid of, you know, one chapter out of a proposed ordinance. And then you adopted the ordinance at that meeting, that's what I'm thinking is that change must be available before, you know, so that's what I was.
Yeah, I mean,
thinking.
so when Mike brings an ordinance or David brings an ordinance, we go through it.
Mhm.
And even if we think it's perfect, it still goes to the next meeting because we have a hearing on it and then we go to the next meeting for adoption. I mean, essentially what that is, I understand your conundrum.
Yeah,
Um,
especially because B says by a unanimous quorum of the council, an ordinance may be adopted at a single meeting. Because the thing is like, if the council wants to bring the ordinance back to review, they're gonna direct the city attorney to bring it back. So I'm just wondering if we can just get rid of C altogether.
uh-oh, now Doug's in it. David, thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts. I don't think I'm following so well what the problem is. Can someone kind of restate that?
Let me see if I can pull up a copy and share it on the screen, because I imagine you don't have that.
So I
copy.
know it does only say though that you can only pass it in a single meeting. Only if it has been published at least a week in advance, so. If they bring an ordinance through and they make substantive changes, there's no way they could even pass it at a single meeting,
Right.
both. Because they wouldn't have met the writing in public or have it up posted in public. One meeting prior to the meeting, which
So
is
then-
stated in B.
So then what's considered substantive?
Substantive.
What's,
Yeah.
okay, well, in my opinion, anything but a grammatical change.
Anything but a grammatical
Anything
change.
but grammatical spelling, that kind of
So
stuff.
clarification,
So if.
Well, even a clarification, because it can change the meaning.
I guess possible.
So if you had a 20-page ordinance,
Mhm.
and then out of section 9, for example, 2, B, C, and D were removed.
That's a
That's not-
substantive change from what was published the 7 days prior to that meeting. So then it still has to go back out again as amended with those 3 sections missing for adoption at the next meeting.
Yep.
And I understand it, I just feel like for 2 items like that, I feel like that's a lot for the public, because at the very least, if a motion's made, I move to amend the ordinance to remove section 2, B, C, and D, you're gonna have that in the minutes. That's going to be something that's in.
I understand, but let me put this another way, okay? I have served on councils where only 2 people out of 7 ever read their packet.
Mhm.
Okay? To be blunt, this kind of helps in giving the public an extra opportunity to get their voice in and not just people rubber stamping. I've always had an issue with that. I mean, trust me, I don't like 100-page council packets, but I'll read every stupid page.
Yeah.
Well, think about that though too.
Yeah,
Let's
that's a bunch
say
of numbers.
you in the public.
I'll even read the bunch of numbers.
I think it's
And chapter nine.
transparency, I think is also really important.
Exactly.
Now they
Yeah.
script it.
I read
You
it
don't have
3 or 4
a chance
times
to
on
know
pencil
if
packets.
you didn't come to the meeting because you read it before you got.
And I
They got it
until
right.
6 when we
Yeah.
got-
Now, they struck it, you don't have a chance to come in and speak about it, so you'll let me.
I mean, this stuff is hard to understand.
Yeah, because that's a
And
substantive
it's
change.
quiet.
Even no matter how big the document, that change could mean a lot to so many different people, maybe not
Yeah.
you, but maybe somebody else.
Yeah,
And they
and
need to have that public process. Yes, we encourage them to be here, but they may not have come because they saw it in there and thought, yeah, I agree with this. And now when you take it out, now maybe they don't agree and they wanna have it on the record and they wanna speak publicly, but they can't because they thought,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, my argument is transparency as well. You
Yeah.
know, instead of potentially sowing the seeds of distrust. I mean, it is a lot of work and steps and everything, but I think in the long run, it's beneficial to Be transparent.
No, I definitely get that. If I thought that that section was good. We're kind of in a conundrum either way, so I'm not gonna worry about it because because if I thought it was good and then I didn't go and thought that it would be approved and it changed, but then because I didn't follow up afterwards, then I'm still in that spot. So
Right, but-
regardless, yeah.
But it's not because of anything we did.
We still put it out.
We
there.
still put it out there. We still gave you the opportunity
You still
to
have the
comment. We
opportunity
still,
to come back
right,
and comment. a
Yeah.
second.
exactly.
Less drama.
Yeah.
For considering that. not like-
No, that's why you're here. You're part of the nuts and bolts team.
Going on chapter 10.
Actually, from 3, we don't have, or sorry, 4.2E, we don't have. Where the mayor signed it?
The after adoption of an ordinance, the city custodian of records must endorse it with the date of adoption and the custodian's name and title. Is that what you're talking to?
Yeah, typically they have like the mayor's signature on there too.
Ordinances.
Our ordinances should be saying mayor.
Yeah, which we kind of talked about it before. too.
Yeah, we talked about that in last week's.
Yeah,
Formal or something.
okay, yeah, okay, sorry. David was about to say something and I.
Yes, sir. Fire away.
One of the helpful clauses that I found from my work is when you adopt ordinance, there's a section at the end called severability that goes in there. And there's another section that said this ordinance can be adopted, authorizing administrative staff to correct typos, numbering or lettering oddness. So it really distinguishes what is a grammatical error versus what is a substantive change. So I like that substantive change because it's in a sense, it's self-defining. You know, if you're
Yes.
like me who turn in work product where there might be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and I misnumber my things and miss it. Yeah, that clause at the end picks up that error and allows the city recorder to just change it and the council to adopt it. We don't need a debate over it.
Right.
It's in your charter, David? You can
Uh,
see.
No, that's just something I draft into all my ordinances. So the council can authorize it.
Yeah, so that in other words, say we do find some grammatical errors and whatnot, that and when we go through and numbering errors, we don't make any substantive changes, we can still pass it.
That makes sense.
You know, sometimes we don't catch them at council. They come out after it goes from a printed document and other eyes see it. We catch it after the fact.
Yeah.
Is there like a disclaimer put on it, just, you know, in case like?
That's what he's talking about is.
Oh, okay, yeah, because if I'm looking at it and I didn't catch the numbering
Yeah,
issue, and I
exactly.
see it looking again and being like, wait a second,
Right.
this was originally 4, now it's 3, okay. That's.
Have any other questions on that, Lisa?
All right, do you have anything?
I think it-
So are we moving along? this-
Public improvements.
Is
Chapter 10 in the original.
chapter 10 in the LOC.
In our old one. So
Yeah, the
I-
original.
Chapter 10 to page 13.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused, I feel like we shifted.
Chapter 10 administrative authority.
That's true. That's administrative authority on Mike's is 5.
Yeah, chapter 10 is public improvements and debt on my.
Because we went backwards, we were originally going through Mike's and the LOC, and then we switched gears and started using the original city charter. For going through, and that required us to backtrack on Mike's, and so. I'm not even following that. Yeah,
Fortunately, I am. And it's probably my fault. Because I want to make sure that we're covering everything that's in our current charter, so
No, and
that.
I think that's
we'll-
good.
We
so
probably
don't
should have
drop any
decided that we would go line by line on the original term, but we've been doing ping pong,
I,
so that's
I
the.
don't care if we do ping pong, as long as we all know we're playing
Yeah.
ping pong. If some of us think we're playing ping pong and others think of us that we're playing baseball, well, now that's an issue.
What about football?
Even that.
So, okay, just so everybody, we're going back to following Mike's, or I guess they're actually lined up. Chapter 10 on chapter 10 is public improvements
Yeah.
on the original and on Mike's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So this, what is a public improvement? Like, what does that? Define that for me. I'm sorry if that's a really open-ended definition. No, that's okay. Like, what falls into the category of public improvement?
or sidewalk,
But it could be like building something from like nothing, because when I hear improvement, I hear like fixing a sidewalk. If there never was a sidewalk, installing a sidewalk would
installing
be.
this.
It's still an
Public-
improvement.
Okay, yeah, I guess as I say that, that makes sense.
Okay, well, it's
Public
Okay.
improvement, a public improvement is defined by statute and a lot of interpretation from places like the Bureau of Labor and Industries in public contract, but it's basically anything other than maintenance that touches and concerns real estate. And it's pretty expansive. I know of one anecdotal report where a cable provider came in and had to install a gizmo on a city building's antenna. And I guess they didn't comply with prevailing wage rates, so Boley got involved. It was over $50,000, and Boley considered that a public improvement contract. I don't have a citation for it. It was just folklore.
Does the word remonstrance mean?
Demonstrate.
That one. It's in section 33 improvements.
Yeah.
That means.
Must have the dictionary on this one. Forcefully reproachful protest. I mean, it's not clear.
I think it has to do with money, if I remember right.
Yeah, because it says shall be suspended for 6 months on a remonstrance.
Remonstrance.
That one.
Another word is complaints, objection, rebuke, reproach, reproof. SARS action there.
In Silverton, we would have those. I can't remember, I want to say it was something like the landowner would have to sign a letter of remonstrance. Kind of like a declaration saying that they were going to do something specific. Been a few years since I've been there.
That would make sense the way this is written.
Yeah, because I think that boils down to sidewalks, is what that's about.
Yeah, I think that's,
Because,
They had to public, like approve them or something.
well, it's so like, if the sidewalk in front of their home is really beat up and such, the city can require them to fix it. And I think that's what this is about.
Okay.
But I'm looking.
You'll see
Too
in our
many stupid
agenda.
apps.
I think we should definitely remove that word because that is just, we could find another.
Well, I mean, that may be the legal word
No.
we have to use. I don't know.
no, you're not gonna find another word to replace it.
Webster says protest or complaint.
Is remonstrance like a formal complaint, that's why, or something?
No, I think it's just designating.
We've stumped both.
There's
Attorneys.
there's a
Silence.
legal meaning to it,
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and that's,
but but part of it is, yes, they're objecting, they're not in favor.
Yeah, because I've
Right.
seen reproach, rebuke, complaint, I've seen all these, but if it's, yeah.
Right, so it shall be suspended for 6 months. Complaint by the owners of 2/3 of the land to be specially assessed for the improvement.
So like, if you have a land improvement district, basically it's saying if 2/3 of the people come together, they can sign a letter saying that they're against it and it can't be visited for 6 months.
Which is kind of what we do with we have a public improvement form that somebody doing a development will not object in the future to the forming a local improvement district and LIDs. And an LID is basically something where the city could say, we want to form an LID down this street.
Well-
And create all the sidewalks, and then based on the square footage of the sidewalk, the property is gonna pay for the LID over time. It's not really a tax, they're just paying for it over time, and the city funds it up front. So I think it's tied, I think this is tied into dealing with LIDs.
Has that ever been done here?
The way I read it.
I don't believe it has been. We do, when you do a development today, I drafted a form, it's a public improvement, something or another. But it's rather than improve, you do a development out here, Zuspin, for example, and other properties. Rather than requiring you to do the sidewalks and streets, is the sidewalks and gutters now. We're saying that if an LID is formed, you're not going to object to it. And you're binding all of the future owners the same way. So once you get enough of those in an area, you could require an LID. Or frankly, people can come and ask to an LID before.
So we have a situation here in town where there are 4 property owners that believe there's a street there, but there's not a street there. And the issue is who takes care of that? And so one of the things we proposed to them, I think, David, you'd remember this conversation, I think.
I wrote a memorandum about it. It's in your
Yeah.
file somewhere.
Yeah,
It's called ghost streets or phantom streets.
yeah,
Streets that were
thank
dead.
you.
That's like when Farmer Bob partitioned off the North 40 and made a whole bunch of homes. They built their own roads and then dedicated them to the city. If the city never accepted the dedication, it's not a city road.
It's not a city road. We've got one part of town where there's at least one of those. And so we're trying to work out a way with them. You guys can form an LID, you can do this, you can do that. But it's not our street.
Right. It's a
So-
county road.
Yeah,
It
it's
goes all the way
still,
back
it's still
to,
considered a county road.
It's dedicated to the public, but the city never accepted.
Yeah, the city never accepted it. So we basically put the ball in their court. How do you guys want to handle this?
It does.
Do I live by that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I probably know exactly about where you live.
the other term is paper streets. That might be a more popular term. Because they're not, they exist on a plat map, but they were never accepted by the city. Paper streets was the term.
yep.
So I have a question. Are we combining on ours, section 10 is public improvements and section 33 and 34? And section 35 is debt limits, but on Mike's charter, you've got it combined public improvements and debt. Are we combining them into one?
We shouldn't have debt limits in public improvements.
Well, it's
No,
chapter 10 is public
no.
improvements,
No.
That's why I was confused.
Ready, six?
No, He was
So-
doing his best Lincoln City Foghorn imitation.
So would we wanna move it to miscellaneous provisions, like?
Well, that's where it's at in.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
Ours,
Or
yeah.
would we wanna create its own little chapter? Its own
No.
little top hat,
Move it.
move it to miscellaneous.
I was thinking that, I just looked over and saw them both in the same one and it confused me a little.
Okay. So we'll,
City council is in charge of condemning buildings.
Yeah,
what?
yep,
I just learned that.
yeah. We have to make the final call.
But this is after like code enforcement and all the.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay, I was like, what?
And technically, we're not the only ones that can do it. So can the county building inspector. So can the county health department. Yeah, but when it comes down to it and they decide to punt, the city council has to do it. Worst day of my life so far in this
And so
job.
do you have to, then the city has to pay for the removal of all of that?
Yep, and then we bill the owner.
Case in
You
point,
probably haven't gotten a penny in, I'm thinking of one that's on the county road.
on the main road here, the.
No,
Hotel?
the one that.
No,
The ghost road.
The ghost road.
It's gone now,
No, that was the
okay,
hotel.
oh.
Oh.
The council had to condemn it.
We had, that's why,
Declared a dangerous building.
yeah,
What?
Declared a
declared it a
building.
dangerous building.
Condemnation, you can say, I need that for public use.
Yeah.
And
But condemnation is something that you don't step into unless you absolutely have to.
Well, condemnation is a civil process. When you go through
Yeah.
dangerous building, that's more of a law enforcement police
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but both are done by the council.
yeah.
I had just read that back here on section 10.4 of Mike's version.
Didn't realize that was a thing, but I have no objection.
These aren't.
If you ever end up serving on the council and you have to do that, it'll be one of the saddest days of your life because you're affecting people's lives.
Yep,
Yeah.
And
No, I know the hotel, that was rough. That was, yeah.
no, it's why this mayor put his foot down and I had an attorney jump on the Corvallis livability ordinance and trying to get it set up so we could use something like that. Cause I don't ever want to do that again.
That was my first day back.
Yes, I want,
Hey,
hey, he's an officer, he can deal with it.
one battle.
Welcome back to more. Having up.
Boarding up the building. So the next special powers of council are just options that. I don't know that we would use them, but there are options that are in, couple of them in the city of Ashland, and that first one.
Oh, that's on your section 11.
Yeah,
Special power.
different cities had special powers of council.
Let me see your list real quick.
Um,
Would that one be in the charter since the urban renewal district is semi-temporary? I mean, it can only exist for a certain amount of years, or should
30.
this be an ordinance?
Wait, the URA can only be around for a certain amount of years?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's only there for a lifetime, which I think ours is 30 years.
And they can't be brought back up?
No, then you could create another.
Oh, okay.
But.
Yeah.
But the life of that one will expire. I think with the urban renewal revenue bonds, if you don't have. If you don't have it here, you're not. And you're limiting it down in that bottom paragraph, $5 million face value. You don't have the authority the city doesn't have the authority to create them. How likely is it that we would? I don't know.
okay, so here's my question. So I understand the council is, in this case, is operating as the district managers of the urban renewal district. That's why I have to call them directors, not counselors.
Yeah,
In other cities, it's not always the council that's the urban renewal district directors.
Those, Is your question, is this the appropriate location for it?
Is, well, number one, is this the appropriate location for it? Number two, should it, because it looks like we're mixing council business with URA business.
Oh,
Yeah.
so should it say the board?
Well, should it say should it say the board instead of the council? You know, how should, because we're not supposed to mix the two operations, as it were. And that's where I'm confused with that.
So can there be
Yeah, because they're two different entities.
Can there be a statement, like a generic one saying the council may authorize or direct certain, and then in a different area, specify the board, the urban renewal district and how they do the bonds or something?
Hey, where are we reading? Are we on Mike's version?
Yeah, we're on Mike's version, chapter 11, section 11.2.
Yes.
Okay,
I think it would still be,
So what I'm hearing is that,
still be the council issuing the revenue bonds, though.
is
It wouldn't
the-
be the directors?
Do we need to do some research and bring that back?
well, I think under the state statute, when you adopt a UR, well, first of all, every city council has a URA already. It's how they choose to bring it to life. It can be a separate entity or the council can be sitting as the URA. And I think the choice is there. I'm sorry, I got a million things open on my laptop, so I can't find that citation. So I'm going off of memory, but it's recent memory. Mike, do you know what I'm talking about? Help out my brain.
I think so, I don't know that the council has to be the directors of the URA.
that was gonna be my question,
There-
I'm like,
there's-
is that just
There's
a,
an option,
is that there's a happenstance that our
Well,
counselors are
most of the
directors?
time. most of the time,
Most
that's
of
what happens.
Most of the time, in smaller cities, it's usually the council,
Okay,
okay?
Mhm.
As you get in larger cities, like for example, in the city of Independence, their urban renewal agency board is, I think it's 9 members, 3 of them are counselors, and the other 6 are from the community.
okay.
And so your urban renewal district is a quasi municipal agency.
And that's what you're saying, you can't
It's
have the
an
city
entity
councilors.
it's an entity separate from the city.
Okay, so they can't be,
So, but we need to look up that lending authority and where does it actually derive from? Does it derive from the city or from the URA? Because if it derives from the city, then you're right, it needs to be the council. If it derives from the URA itself, then it can be the board.
We derive from the URA for the amount that the URA was given.
There you
So
go.
it's a predetermined that was set up in the URA. I don't know that it comes, I mean, when the city adopted the URA and appointed its directors, however they appointed it, it's the directors that would throw out any bond, but that bond is only backed by what the URA is.
Exactly.
There, so it's already, it's not imposing any tax onto the voters.
Well, that's why I want to have this clarified because if we're talking about the URAs, then it's the URA board that does all that and it's only up to the stipulations of the URA.
Belong in the second.
The citation to look at is Oregon Revised Statute 457-035 and 045.
So this might be off topic or on topic. The bond for the water tower, is that through the URA too, or is that something totally different?
It's not through the URA, it's the city.
So if, once the city council, as I said, there is an urban renewal agency that exists by statute in every municipality in Oregon. To activate the URA, the council declares a section of town blighted. And then there has 3 choices. The power can lie with a housing authority, or by appointing a board or commission, or by the governing body itself. So with that idea, run that through Mike's language go back to where I am here.
We are doing it under 457.05.045, section 3. We're doing it through basically the government body because they are the same as our urban, they are our URB.
So are you able to
Yeah.
extend your
Well, I think-
boundary to the blight area?
So that's how you, well, when you form your district,
Mhm.
you need to include X number of blight. That's why if you look at the way ours is, it covers not just Main Street, but it covers Main Street, Business Highway 20, and adjacent to those.
And you have to have that blighted area, and then in that geographic region, it freezes the tax rate. And any growth in increase in taxes, that tax increment, instead of going to the city and county and other taxing districts, it goes into the URA.
No, what I mean is, can we, if,
At a
Can we
later date,
extend
no,
it
it'd
if
have
we
to
need
be a
to?
new one.
oh, it have to be the,
Right.
when that's one and
Once you
Gets over.
build that one, it's gotta stay that one.
Can't alter the boundaries or anything.
that was my question.
That's why Newport has 2 and Lincoln City has 3 and.
You can have multiple going at
Oh,
the same
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah, David's walked into the hornet's nest of URAs.
I know.
You love to sit inside first, make sure nobody was there.
Oh, rough.
That was classic.
So how do we want to handle that? Do we want to wordsmith it and bring it back or
I can look,
I'd say.
I can look at,
it's 11:08 at the moment?
renewal revenue.
And I can look at our previous ordinances that were adopted by the council, just to make sure that that language wasn't already included when it established the district.
So yeah, let's just make sure on that.
When you set up the URA, Mike, whoever set it up. When they set up our URA here, did they identify it as the governing body? The URA directors?
I believe they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that being the fact that you. Okay, so that's how it's set up. You can't change that. You can change that, but you have to go through a process to do that. As I'm reading under ordinance. If you change that, like if you wanted to appoint another board or commission, like separately. But it does say the governing body, if has to act as the governing body of the URA, and it shall be. But they have to know that they're acting under the URA and not the governing body, so they have to be separate.
Right.
Which is why you call us directors instead.
So
of
I
the
think
council.
in that case,
Yeah, finally
I
got it
don't
right.
know that you would need that section that you're talking about under the URA. But in our charter, because that's the URA charter, not
Yeah.
our charter,
Yeah.
that would be under your URA rules.
Mhm.
Well, that's why I want these guys to, I don't know if it has to be in there.
It definitely doesn't have to be in there.
Okay. But let's find out, right? Let's make
Yeah.
sure, because I don't want to have to come back in a year and go, hey, we got to change this thing again, right?
So there's a whole different.
No,
there's-
there's not a different charter.
So there's no charter for the URA.
There's a URA agreement
Okay,
Right.
that the other taxing districts.
I just know that you
signed off
said 30 years for this
That-
charter, was
that-
hoping it was gonna
that
wait 30 years to do it.
on.
So 11?
These are the areas of the URA.
So on 11.3 on Mike's,
Yeah, that's a lot.
That was another one that I found.
okay,
I don't know that we need to do it.
well, okay, here's. Okay. Back in 99. Back in 99, you remember when we got those 11 inches of rain in like 24 hours, and that's when the fire department slid, we lost Terrace. The cul-de-sac terrace loop or whatever it was called back then. And we had major flooding all over the county and roads were being washed out.
A Street was underwater.
Oh, yeah, and we had fountains.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. The, everywhere there's a manhole, we had a fountain.
Spouting.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't know, is this, I can't remember because we fronted the money because we knew we'd get disaster recovery money later. But we went out and got a loan to do all the work that had to get done because like the folks on Terrace, they had a walkway like this to get to their house
Well,
because we lost that much of the road. And so
What's terrace?
right across from the old hospital. The one that goes back like that cul-de-sac that was back there, the whole cul-de-sac went down the hill.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, we lost a lot of stuff around town.
Aspen Street.
No,
Good circle.
anyway. Yeah, that was my introduction to city emergency 8 months into my first time. And
I have a question to ask.
yeah,
Mike Adams, did you include the flood damage restoration bond as sort of an emergency that in case we ever needed it, the authority would be there? And without it in the charter, we wouldn't have the authority?
Yeah, it was just stuff that I found that was novel when I was drafting this for myself. I didn't necessarily think we would include all of those three things.
Well,
yeah, I'm just trying to remember if that was what we did to fix that, or did we just use our our bonding authority to just go out and get the money to get it done, knowing that the feds were gonna pay us back because of the emergency declaration.
Well, bonding authority is not a strong suit. I don't think I've ever worked in that because there's almost always been outside bond counsel on anything I've worked with.
Yeah.
And it
All
hasn't
right.
come up otherwise.
Well,
So
then I
I'm-
wouldn't worry about it then, because if we didn't need to have this in there before, I'm not sure we'd need it in there now. I'm just curious if,
No.
all right.
So we're striking the entire section 11.3.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mike.
11.2, 11.3 and more.
Well, 11.4 I like, but I'm curious why you the word either within or above the city limits and not what either within or without, or either within or without the city limits.
That's. I don't know.
Why you would use the word above? You lost me on using that word for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Eagles,
It was getting late.
low
It
flying
was
birds.
getting late that day.
Okay, all right, let's make that change,
So we just,
because I like that in there.
I do too.
I do like that.
Cut it off right at Slouch
Um,
River.
Well, no, because you gotta
Within or
make,
without.
yeah, you have to leave no doubt that
Within or
if you try to
without.
change the course of the Siletz River, or you try to change the course of Mill Creek, we're gonna have an issue
No,
and
what I
we're
mean
gonna
is-
go.
Cutting off this last part of the sentence.
Yeah, what are we changing?
And put the
Either
period
within
right
or
at the end of
without?
Slouch River.
I think we need to, well, but I think we have to say within or without. Because that way it defines that we're talking about the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, they're gonna assume that our jurisdiction. Our
Covers the entire river.
Or the
Okay.
Siletz River within the city limits? Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
So, no, it says, so he says either within and then it goes or above, and I'm saying change that word, instead of above, you say without.
Yeah.
Within or without the city limits.
Right. So that encompasses any part of the Siletz River or Mill Creek.
And then can we be consistent and are we doing 2/3 or a quorum vote? There's,
It's in the beginning of
first
the first sentence.
What did we do before on?
I think
We've been doing
Let's go
quorum.
quorum.
Yeah, quorum is better.
Majority of them.
Yeah,
I think you almost have to, because I don't know if we have a definition of 2/3 vote of council. Is that the number of seats in total, or?
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
thank
gonna be
you.
my next question
Yep.
of what, is 2/3.
2/3 of 7 would be about 4 or 5.
Somewhere up, maybe 4.5.
That's already an issue.
So we can have a maybe vote.
in Arizona, the legal definition for 2/3 is half plus one.
Okay, okay.
in Arizona.
So that would be
Yeah.
thinking.
I know, right? But that could have changed. I mean, it's been like 10
Hey.
years.
I can't tell you how much grief we gave Nathan when he decided to go to Northern Arizona University. And where is that? Flagstaff. The airport hair care and tire center there. If you don't know that line of jokes, you've got to go watch them. I like them. Lisa knows exactly what I'm talking about.
What chapter are we on?
12 or 7?
7.
Sorry, 12.
Well, yeah, thank you. By the time I checked, X was a 10.
We're adding debt.
Yeah, so that's why we gotta go back to, on Mike's, go back to section 10.3 debt.
And move it.
And
To
we're moving it to
Miscellaneous provision.
miscellaneous provisions,
Yeah,
so.
because in ours, section 11, it has it down, or sorry, chapter 11, debt limits is under miscellaneous provision.
That's why, but you have to backtrack and Mike's look at what we have for that.
So that would be, very nice.
Oh, on Mike's, it's 10.3,
Yep.
because it's underneath public improvements.
City indebtedness may not exceed debt limits imposed by state law. Charter amendment is not required to authorize city indebtedness.
So why are we removing the, holding people liable if they approve indebtedness in excess of this limitation, just in curiosity? Because in our original charter, it says, all city officials and employees who create or officially approve indebtedness in excess of this limitation shall be jointly and severely
Severally.
liable for the excess.
Equally liable. You know, I can come get it from you and they can come get it from you instead of come get it from me. Jointly and severally, so you could be on the hook for the whole amount if you have the deep pockets and I don't have the money. And we made the decision, but, I think that is in state law now anyway.
Oh, okay, so this is included.
I believe that.
I was just wondering why it's not, that isn't in the new
Right.
version.
Well, that to me, it just seems like if somebody goes out and does something they shouldn't, they're gonna be held accountable for their actions.
Well, that's-
Going above and beyond what they're supposed
But
to.
that's why I'm saying, like, I think they should be
Oh,
held liable,
yeah.
but it's not in the new debt section.
Double
And then if
check that,
it's-
Mike, but I think it's
If it's
because it's
already
in
state law, then that's already
I think
covered.
sometime after 1993, the state came to its senses and said, why don't we make a state law about
Okay, and then by.
So technically, it doesn't have to be in there because we're already covered through. state
Because
law.
it says debt limits imposed by state law, and then that covers us for making somebody liable.
it? Now, in the miscellaneous, is that where we wanted to bring up the hot button topic?
For the pay for mayor and stuff. Probably a good idea, because that's getting towards the end of the charter.
Next one.
If we're getting towards the end of the part, go ahead, David.
Oh, I have a question. I probably missed it in the audio with lots of people talking, but under Mike's version, section 10.1, there's a section on improvements, but we also put improvements in a different section in our working copy. Is that an issue or did I just miss it?
It's chapter 10.1 at the very beginning. The council may by ordinance provide for procedures governing the making, altering, vacating, or abandoning of a public improvement.
Where
didn't we
does
ta-
it?
But didn't we take up a public improvements in a different section, or was I on the wrong version during that conversation? I was probably on the wrong version.
Where you're.
I think we were looking at,
Current.
yeah, we were looking at the current charter, I think, David.
No, but I thought
Section
you-
33, yeah.
Yeah,
Saying it's down there.
I just want to make sure it's not in there twice.
no, it's not.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
And then Lisa says we're inching up toward the end. I suppose we could broach the conversation about city council compensation just to sort of get a broad overview of where we're at with the law, because I took a look at it and under what the heck is that, 227, the statute that deals with counties? The counties are obligated to form a compensation committee. I did not see the same law in 221, the organization of local governments and cities. And I'm going to stop there. Mike, how far did you get?
I think what you end up with, I think your main stumbling block for a public body to give themselves a stipend is the public ethics law,
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
That you have an actual or a potential conflict of interest
That's an act.
in that it may or shall impact you financially.
I thought we got over that by not having it go into effect for X number of years when each one of the then serving
Well,
council.
I think that's one way to do it. The legislature recently passed a law saying that school boards can give themselves a stipend up to $500.
Mhm.
I think as a way to try and attract more people onto school boards. Again, you have the same ethics prohibition, and so there have been some opinions by the Oregon Government Ethics Commission that these are three ways to avoid that. You know, one way you could do it by position and you just abstain from the vote on that. With your particular position, which I think is a little hokey. But another way that they said, I think, was to not have it impact, not have it effective until after everybody's term has ended. Because it assumes that you're not necessarily gonna be, you know, you might not, you're not necessarily gonna be the city councilor or the mayor sitting in that seat when, on the effective date.
Which for us would be 2027.
There was another option that they gave,
For three of you, it'd be 2027. For three of you, it'd be this next year. And then for whoever the mayor is. next year.
I think that's a good way of kind of.
well, but then is it fair that three people start getting it?
Thank you. That's.
Yeah, that's another.
Now, I think you could do the mayor separate and then the council separate, or batch everyone into one and make it effective starting 2027.
Or you look at the term that's the farthest out.
Which is mine.
Which is 2027.
27.
Yeah. And you make the effective date after that.
I think that's kind of what we were talking about.
But I think there's still some. You know. This committee's gonna make a recommendation, it's gonna go to the full council. And we still gotta make sure that the council's vote, sending it to the ballot, I think. In that decision was saying it's okay, it's not a conflict of interest. It's because you're essentially saying it's up to the voters. You're not making the decision yourself.
So. The way, okay. The way things are today, for lack of a better word, the reticence people have to be on the council. Is usually monetary. Whether they have to have childcare or just the nature of how a lot of and I won't use the terms, but there are a lot of people that think you need to be paid for everything. And unfortunately, to do some of these jobs, you're gonna need to, you need to put in time and money. And while we currently have well, at least we did, don't know if the intervening 8 years they repealed this. But if I go out of the county to go to an official function as mayor, I can get reimbursed for mileage. But if it's in county, doesn't matter where it is, there's no reimbursement. And that was true for all employees. That was the policy back in the 2000s. I don't know if that's changed or not. I'm blessed. I don't ask the city to reimburse me a lot because I've got a car that gets 50+ miles to the gallon. No, it was an actual conscious thought because I saw where this trajectory was. And unfortunately, we've got to figure out how to do this so that people will want to step up and do the job, because I'll be blunt, the job as mayor and the job as counselor is not the good old boy network that it used to be. You're on committees that you've got to dive into and get to know what the heck's going on. You've got to, you got to represent in Salem. If you want something from that state government, you can't sit back and hope to God that your representatives are going to do it for you. Okay, you've got to jump in and you got to be involved.
I will say, it's just, somebody who's not part of this, when I found out that there was no compensation, and I was shocked. I mean, there's a lot of time and a lot of effort goes into holding these positions, and I think, that's why I was like, what?
Oh yeah,
There's not a-
people have thought that the mayor gets a house.
Yeah.
People have thought that I got paid what he gets paid.
Yeah,
The governor gets a house.
Yeah.
but yeah, no,
There's not as many people that have the willingness to do for others without any kind of expectation. And that currently is what city council and mayor does, is we show up, no pay.
We do this because we love the city.
yeah,
Okay.
I knew when I volunteered to get put on council that I wasn't gonna get paid, and that was fine with me. Because I wanted to do something for my city, but unfortunately, there's not a lot of people out there that I guess I could say I'm blessed enough to be disabled. Because I can't work, so I have all the time in the world to do this.
yeah.
Other people are looking at, I need to make money to do this.
Well, and it used to be that you had mostly retired
Yeah.
or people who had strictly day jobs
Mhm.
who had the time and the inclination to do it. But you didn't have to be super involved outside of that, reading packets, coming to meetings.
Yeah.
Now there are so many other layers to it.
Yeah.
That it's become a part-time job.
That's, yeah, and
It really is.
exactly, and so,
Plus the people's attitudes have changed. I mean, they want everything, but they don't want to be the ones helping to do it. I mean, right down to the youngest, the kids, they have,
Well, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but that's where, at least in my position, I'm willing to sit down and talk with you about it. And I can be yelled at, and depending upon, don't yell at me about my wife and kids. You do that, you're walking out the door being carried by someone on a stretcher. But you want to yell at me about me? Let's go. Let's figure this out, I will call you out if you lie. Ask certain people who've been in this council chambers with me. Don't lie. You can give me your opinions, but don't state facts that aren't facts. We'll have fun then.
no, I just meant that people have a different outlook
Yeah.
on, they don't want to be part of the process. They just want you to do it for them.
Mhm.
One thing that we go through this compensation, one thing that I think needs to be stated in is there that counselors have the ability to decline. Because I know Tracy Mix has said she won't take payment, same with Jackie Kaufman.
Yep.
We have to be able to have that in there, so we are not forced to take that money, that we can actually decline it if we don't
Yep.
want it.
more
Exactly.
to them, but
And I probably have 20 documents in this folder on this issue. I have the 2023 Newbird, 2024 proposed Tiger, 2020 Kaiser, 2020 Ashland,
So
and
this
I have
is-
Gladstone that I didn't put a year on.
So this is
And
not a
Eagle
unique
Point
problem.
submitting it to the
No.
voters, so
No.
if this is something the committee wants to look at,
Well, and so
I
here,
could wordsmith.
so in
Some
this
of those.
state, there used to be many more, what we call strong mayor forms of government, which meant that the mayor does his job.
Okay,
And they would get paid ridiculous amounts of money. And when I say ridiculous amounts of money, the mayor of Beaverton,
Change.
up until 4 years ago now, was paid almost $200,000 a year as a strong mayor form of government. Okay? 4 years ago, they went to what we do. They still get paid $120,000 a year, but they have specific duties attached to being mayor, that they have staff, they have, but that's, Lacey's busy,
I mean, yeah, if they're doing the work that warrants the pay, then like,
right?
yeah,
Well,
but.
But to give you so she's making 120. Her next door neighbor at Hillsborough, same size of town, okay? Steve gets 48,000. Okay,
I mean, do they have the same number of duties and obligations?
in a manner, yes, but in a manner, no. I mean, because their mayor, so Lacey in Beaverton has a specific set of things in their charter now that they must do. Okay? Whereas in the Hillsborough charter, it's just you're the mayor. Well, you end up doing a lot of those things, but not to the depth that Lacey does them. Okay, if you understand what I'm.
I am understanding.
We
It
have a
just-
lot to think
all over
about,
the map.
right? And we have a lot to consider. Do we have, we're at 11:32. Do we have an
Yep.
action item for our next meeting? Where are we going to go with this conversation?
Talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, find out what they think.
We have
Okay?
1 week till next meeting.
Doug forwarded me a copy of the LOC's, one of their guidebooks for
Yeah.
compensation. I can forward that to the committee, and then we also solicit cities that are similar to our size to see if they are actually paying their counselors. That way we have a comparison
Right.
for cities similar to our size. I
Well,
can try to get that.
go
to you
even
before-
smaller, because there are some small cities, I mean, a third our size in the valley that are paying counselors.
Well,
I was
what's his
thinking,
name?
I was
Haven't told
thinking
us about that.
any city under 5,000.
Okay, there you go.
So.
Okay. Well, usually when people say similar means one thing to one person.
I can tell you from where I came this. Only 100 people, their council receipts.
Yeah.
They got them quarterly.
Right. But that's what I'm getting at. So let's find out what's out there. Talk to your friends and neighbors, right?
Before,
Yes,
before we adjourn the meeting, I want to make sure that we establish quorum. I didn't hear that we did that at the beginning.
yes, we
And so-
did.
Okay, thanks.
We did, we were short Ann and she
And
showed
then-
up and then we were all hooting, yay, yay.
Oh, that was the part where I couldn't hear or you couldn't see me. Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
we established we didn't have one until she showed up.
perfect. Well, I've been here for the whole meeting as well.
So our next meeting is the fifth?
Yep.
Tuesday?
10 a.m.
Thank you, folks.
I'll try to get some information out of very latest Monday,
Good.
everybody.
I
Yep.
will start doing some research as well.
Yep. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
call this meeting
Go
adjourned.
team.
Thank you, David.
Bingo.